Hi, and welcome to the 10th episode of SEF Indisc Podcast, a podcast that can be your sad night soulmate. I'm Nata, and I will be this episode's host to accompany your Saturday night, if you're actually listening to this podcast on Saturday night. But if it's not Saturday night, regardless, you're still with me. The amount of Saturday night that I said, it's like I'm singing Panic at the Disco song. I'd like to say that it is nice to be back here again. You guys won't probably remember or even knew, but I did one episode and I talked about procrastination. But now, I'm going to talk about a particular thing that is not less interesting, and probably most of us are facing this thing too. So I'm here to help you, maybe to put some sense into it. Okay, so picture this. You just graduated from college, finally, right? And you've passed all of your semesters required. Let's say just in time, in a span of 4 years. You've made sure you have achievements, did an internship, wrote name journals, and all of the other great sorts of stuff you could possibly put to write into your 4 pages worth of CV. That would be great, right? And at the time you want to apply at a reputable corporation, just hand over your CV, then wait. Or what's even greater, maybe they would just hire you out of a recommendation from a certain person. And voila, there you go. You have finished college and you have a job. But what if it is not as simple as that? I mean, I'm sure it's not. Let's say you have finished college. You did good with your final scores. Your CV is also fine, decent. But then what? What's next? Where to go now? And that is the particular thing I'd want to talk about. Then what? What's next? I'm certain that life after college, it is not as simple as I've told you guys before. I mean, if you have planned your entire life path and you're on the right track, in the right major that you're passionate about, and you are sure, even if there are still confusions and doubts by the end of your semester, you may go sidetrack, but you're convinced that it won't be that far. Still feels like you could handle it. That's good. No, that's great for you. But there are some who aren't really certain about what they're doing, even their current circumstance. Let's head back to a few years before, shall we? Maybe as far as when we were in kindergarten. I'm sure we were all asked, what do we want to be when we grew up? I wanted to be chef. I wanted to have an Italian restaurant on top of the Eiffel Tower. I wanted to be the one who serves Italian food in France, on top of a historical landmark. Kids in kindergarten, they would be really passionate and excited when that question popped up. What do you want to be? The countless possibilities of being something, being someone. When kids are given that question, it is the time for them to shine, to give a speech, to unfold that long scrolled list of their dreams. Now, when we were given that question, sure, some have their straight planned out answers, but there are also many who feel like crushed by an elephant, the burden of giving an answer. Maybe you don't want to give false hope or let people down if you don't achieve that dreams you've planned, the dream you've told your closest one, the dream you worked hard for. We grew up being asked with the question of, what do we want to be when we're older? But with life, we have no control over it. We have none. There might be times you will come across with the question of what's next, then what? And to answer that, to go from where you are now with the question, the only thing that you need to be is ready. ready to not live in the exact version of that dream you have planned out for yourself, no matter how big or small. All I'm saying is that don't be too caught up thinking the possibilities, the what ifs, but focus on, well, at least pay attention more to what you're in control of. Now, it is what you're going to do in the moment. You have all of the control to decide the options given. A vocalist from a band that I really love once said, "We may have no control in what we will be, but we have all the control of what we will do." Whoa, we got 2 tenths over that one. And look at the time. We've been hanging out long enough. Okay, so that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening, our beloved listeners of SEF Indisc Podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify to always stay updated about our next episode with another amazing announcer. SEF Indisc Podcast, a podcast that can be your sad night soulmate.